What's it like living in Kamloops? It's great, but every city has a dark side. We're going to talk about living in Kamloops, the good, the bad, and the ugly, starting right now. Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Pereira. I'm a veteran realtor of 25 years living in beautiful Kamloops, British Columbia. And in this video, we're going to cover the good, the bad, and the very ugly of living in Kamloops. And for those of you who already live here, this is a controversial subject and everyone has opinions. If you feel that I've missed something or that the order is not quite correct, feel free and comment down below and I'll try and add that change or addition in my next rendition. Let's get started. Okay, let's start with the good. Kamloops is a fantastic mecca for outdoor activities, and we enjoy 4 distinct seasons, so you can enjoy all of those activities for those seasons. Now, whether it's mountain biking, trail riding, hiking, dirt biking, snowmobiling, or downhill skiing at Sun Peaks or Harper Mountain, there's every conceivable outdoor sport available to you out here except for surfing, I would say. So, if you're an outdoors person, Kamloops is the place for you. Now, we also enjoy 82 municipal and provincial parks, and we are known as the tournament capital of Canada. So if you're into sports, team sports, that kind of thing, Kamloops is definitely for you. If you're into fishing, Kamloops has over 200 various lakes of various sizes and depths that appeal to all kinds of inland fishing. So if you're a fisherman, there's a lake a day for as long as 200 days, if you want to stay here that long. So for fly fishing and trolling, these are popular lakes with fishermen, and Kamloops is known for its fighting trout. So get out there and cast a line and enjoy. Because Kamloops has a population of over 100,000 people in the metro area, we enjoy a lot of the same shopping that larger cities have. And we are lucky to have a Costco in Kamloops. And you won't find another one until you drive as far north as Prince George. Now, we do have a lot of smaller independent shops, bakeries, meat shops, bookstores, all kinds of smaller privately owned businesses. And we encourage people to shop local first. And Kamloops is very proud with their tradition in that area. We also have lots of big box retailers, and we have 3 malls. North Hills Mall on the North Shore, Sahalee Center Mall in Sahalee, and Aberdeen Mall, which is the largest. Now, we have a lot of the big box retailers here. We have your Michaels, Walmart, we have Home Depot, we have Rona, Home Hardware, we have Staples, Chapters. There's so many to mention. In terms of food, we have Save-On Foods, Real Canadian Superstore, Freshco, and Safeway, and London Drugs, Shoppers Drug Mart, pretty much everything you'd need. We also have a fantastic farmers market, which is open over the summers downtown. So be sure and check that out as well. Another great thing about Kamloops is that we have a very, very diverse economy and a lot of major employers and major industries here. So you can't call Kamloops a 1-horse town. We're not even a 1, 2, or 3-horse town. Kamloops has so much going on, and on the screen here I'm going to put up all our major employers. A fun fact about Kamloops is that we have CN Rail and CP Rail, and I'm a bit of a railway buff, and they both meet in this city, but they don't meet in a lot of cities across Canada. It doesn't happen all that frequently, and they employ a lot of people here. We also have a major provincial prison, and we are the headquarters for BC Lotteries Corp. And Thompson Rivers University employs over 2,000 people. So as you can see, we have a lot of employers here, a lot of employment opportunities. And for you or your family that's growing up here, they don't have to necessarily move away for employment, and that's a good thing. Another great thing about Kamloops is that it's not very buggy. If you go up to Prince George, 100 Mile House, a lot of those areas where they're heavily wooded and there's a lot of marshes and ponds and things like that, it can be very buggy and a lot of mosquito bites. In Kamloops, I'm not going to tell you there aren't mosquitoes. There are, but they're very, very small, and their bites aren't all that problematic. And some parts of the city, you might not see a mosquito at all. So it's great that it's not very buggy, though in the summer, you can count on the occasional bite, but you won't be swatting them away all day. Kamloops has relatively low housing costs. When I'm talking about pricing here, I'm talking about, good neighborhoods, certainly somewhere where I would put my mom. And if you're looking for a condominium, they start at about $250,000 to $300,000. A townhouse will be about $300,000 to $350,000 starting. And a single family home where you're, in your own house with your own yard, those start between $500,000 and $600,000. And if you compare that to the rest of the Okanagan and the Lower Mainland, the Fraser Valley, that's very competitive. One thing I really like about Kamloops is that it's super friendly and unpretentious. You're not going to see a lot of exotic sports cars and a lot of Gucci in Kamloops. There are lots of wealthy people that live here, but they don't flaunt their wealth like other major cities. And for some reason, if they're spending their money, they seem to buy things that are more higher end utilitarian as opposed to higher end exotic. We also don't have a lot of exotic car dealers here. So if that's your thing, I don't think you'll be happy in Kamloops. But if you're looking for a great place to live that's not into labels, Kamloops is the place for you. When it comes to transportation, Kamloops is a clear winner. We call Kamloops the hub city because we are the hub for so many highways coming off of Kamloops. So if you look on a map, you'll see that there are so many highways heading off in different directions from Kamloops because Kamloops is in the central southern interior, and there are a lot of smaller communities and cities that rely on Kamloops that lead to larger cities further out. But this makes for fantastic road trips, and I encourage you when you live here to take some road trips and enjoy some of the smaller settlements and communities around Kamloops and the various lakes. Now, if you live in Kamloops itself, transportation is fantastic as well because driving to the furthest ends of the city take about 15 to 20 minutes and no more than that. And traffic jams and congestion are super, super rare unless there's an accident. So you can enjoy making it on time to wherever you need to go in the city because very rarely is there going to be some traffic jam to slow you down. Another fantastic addition to Kamloops is Thompson Rivers University, which has a beautiful campus on 250 acres. TRU employs over 2,000 people and grants various degrees, has excellent trades programs and a nursing school and a faculty of law. So if your kids are planning to get into law, they don't have to drive very far. Lastly, in the good category is Kamloops weather, and we enjoy over 2,000 hours of sunshine annually. Now, if you come from the coast, that is Vancouver or the Fraser Valley, you'll be used to liquid sunshine and it being cold and somewhat dreary and cloudy. It can be cold here, but frequently it's sunny. And we have relatively minor temperatures throughout the year. And, in the winter, average about -5, and in the summer, high 20s, low 30s. Now, I'm not going to tell you there aren't extremes. There are, and it can be as hot as, 40, 41 in the summer. And with wind chill, it can be in the low -30s. But frequently that happens only for a week or two at the most, and then it's back to normal. So Kamloops is a big, big win when it comes to weather because it's enjoyable most of the time and it's bright. Okay, let's talk about the bad, the not so great things about living in Kamloops. Number one, it can be hard to find a place to rent in Kamloops. Now, when I say that, apartments are more plentiful, but if you're looking for a house, that is a house with its own yard, you're not sharing it with another tenant, and you get the full house to yourself, and it's in a good neighborhood, and it's perhaps not too old, that is very, very hard to find in Kamloops, and it can be very expensive, and there's lots of competition for those homes. So be prepared and do a lot of your research and legwork before you get here because they are a tough, tough nut to crack. Now, when it comes to apartments and single rooms, that kind of thing for students, they're far more plentiful. But if you're looking for really inexpensive options in great locations, that can be really tough. newer buildings that are expensive seem to have units that are available all the time. But if you're looking for stuff on a budget in a great location, that can be a real challenge, especially when you're competing with international students from TRU. Number 2, finding a family doctor. It can be tough to find a family practitioner in Kamloops, but if you know people who already live here and they have a doctor who's accepting patients, they seem to allow friends of friends to become patients in their practice. So go that route. Otherwise, there are a few walk-in clinics, but I'm not going to lie to you, finding a family doctor can be a real challenge in Kamloops. Number 3, Kamloops can be very dusty, and I mean dusty. In the summer, we don't get a lot of rain, and the silt bluffs around Kamloops are a very fine dust. So when you don't have rain and the wind picks up, the silt blows everywhere, and it just seems to get into everything. So, keeping your car clean and non-dusty is a constant challenge, especially black cars. But, it's a minor problem, but it's something you should know because there is a lot of silty dust in Kamloops. Number 4 is roads. The streets in Kamloops, some are in good shape. A lot of them are not in great shape, and they're not well maintained. And when there are potholes, the city seems to take their sweet time about fixing them. And this is something that's mentioned frequently in the newspaper and in online forums about Kamloops. So, you might want to budget for an alignment on your vehicle once a year because potholes are prevalent here and the city doesn't seem all that keen about upgrading the roads or filling the potholes very quickly. Now you know. Number 5 on the bad list is crime, petty crime. And when I talk about petty crime, I'm referring to crimes of opportunity. Like you left your garage door open and somebody walked by and saw your nice mountain bike and decided to ride away on it. Or you left your purse on your car seat and you locked it, but they decided to break in and get it because they saw it. So the key here is not to be an easy victim. Bring your valuables inside and make sure you lock things up, but don't keep things visible at all because I've heard of people breaking into vehicles just because they saw a toonie, in the ashtray. So do cars even have ashtrays anymore? I don't know. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Don't be an easy victim. Take things inside. And if you can't take them inside, don't leave them visible in your vehicle so that you can be an easy victim. Number 6, we have a pulp mill in Kamloops, and it's called Domtar, and it's located west of the city, downriver. And on occasion, the smell from the pulp mill will waft into the city, and it's hard to describe. It's kind of a small, lower sulfur smell. It's just an odd smell, and frequently when you do smell it, you'll know right away, but then it disappears as quickly as you smelled it. And if you smell it in the city, more than once a month, I'd be surprised. Now, it used to be a lot worse because they didn't treat the stuff coming out of the stack, but now it's a lot better than it used to be. And when you do smell it, it's noticeable, but it's not as unpleasant as it used to be. Number 7, most of South Kamloops is on hillside. So if you're looking in some of the more desirable neighborhoods near the university, near Costco, near Aberdeen Mall, you have to put up with the fact that most of this is hillside and you won't have flat lots and, flat walkways in terms of sidewalks and neighborhoods to walk around. Now, there are some flat benches in those areas, but frequently the lots have some slope to them and, they're not perfectly flat fenced yards. So if you're looking for nice flat walks in your neighborhood and perfectly flat yards, you'll have to look elsewhere. Number 8, if you find a home that you plan to move into and there's a desirable school near that home, don't automatically assume that your kids can go there because Kamloops has some funny school catchment areas, and although your home might be closer to one school, you may not be in that catchment area. So please check with the school district and make sure that the school you want your kids to go to is in the catchment area of the home you plan to live in. Number 9 on the bad list is if you live on the North Shore, you can't do all of your shopping on the North Shore because there just isn't enough selection and options on the North Shore for all of your shopping. You can get your groceries on the North Shore, you can get your day-to-day things, but if you're going to be shopping for, hardware supplies, clothes, items that you'd need from, say, Costco or a Walmart, those things don't really exist in shopping on the North Shore. So be prepared to cross the bridge and go to the South Shore for a lot of the things that you'll need, on a monthly basis for sure. Number 10 on the bad list is clothes and shoes in the average category. When you go to buy, clothes or shoes, and this has been my experience in, average sizes, Kamloops doesn't seem to stock enough of them. The Kamloops retailers and shops don't seem to keep a lot of the most common stuff around for people to buy. And this has baffled me for years, but here we are. So know that if you're in the common category, you might too be baffled because it just isn't in stock. Now, I know a lot of these top 10 bad things aren't all that bad, but I wanted to give you a good idea of all of the bad and annoying things about Kamloops that I've experienced so that you get a good idea of the not so great things in Kamloops. Let's get to the ugly. What is ugly? It's different to different people. And to me, what might be ugly might be quirky or different to you. And certainly people's opinions about what's ugly in Kamloops are going to be different. But these are my personal observations of what's ugly in Kamloops that would be different from other cities in British Columbia. Number 1 is the homeless population in Kamloops has skyrocketed. There are a lot of homeless people downtown in the downtown cores of both the North and South Shore. And, there's lots of discarded needles. There's lots of garbage. A lot of the businesses down there have had to deal with lots of problems with vagrancy and, homeless people sleeping in front of their businesses and in the alleys. And just the amount of garbage and crime that has resulted from a lot of these homeless people. And, a lot of these people are drug addicts. A lot of these people are criminals. Let's not make them all out to just be people who are down on their luck. Some of these people are, they're victimizing the very neighborhoods that they're sleeping in. So this is a big, big problem in the downtown cores of both sides of the river. And you need to know that the city and the province are working to make the problem better. But you need to know that it is a serious, serious problem. Number 2 for ugly is termites. Kamloops has termites, and that's a big shocker to a lot of people. And when I say termites, I don't mean the flying variety that fly in and just start to eat your house from the outside in. We have what are called subterranean termites, and they come into the house from contact with wood that is against the dirt in, outside, and they enter the house from rotting material outside, and then they slowly eat your house from the inside out. Now, they're not nearly as destructive as the flying variety, but if you're going to buy a home in Kamloops, be sure and have a professional home inspector check it thoroughly, because these termites exist everywhere and more so in certain areas in Kamloops. And if you reach out to me, I can certainly point out where the worst areas are. But be careful. Termites are a real problem in Kamloops. Number 3 for ugly is rattlesnakes. Now, we do have rattlesnakes, not in the city, but in, the bush and forested areas around Kamloops. We have rattlesnakes, and they like the dry areas. Now, if you like hiking, stay on the trail. They avoid people, and we don't have all that many bites in BC in a given year. I mean, rattlesnakes live from Ashcroft all the way down into the Okanagan, and there are about 5 rattlesnake bites reported every year, and they're very, very rarely fatal. But where this could be a problem for you in particular is if your pets are running off leash and they're off in the bush they could encounter a rattlesnake, and this is a real fear for a lot of people. Though I don't think it's as common as people, fear. Now remember that rattlesnakes try and avoid people. They only strike if they feel threatened. So don't go out there. You see a snake and you're picking it up and you're like, "Hey Timmy, look what I found," and then you find something bit you. That's just you. That's not the snake. So bear in mind that when it comes to rattlesnakes, they try and avoid people. They don't stay on the trail. They stay well off the trail and they stay out of your way. So, keep your dogs on leash or try and keep them out of areas where rattlesnakes aren't that common. Number 4, and the final thing on the ugly list, is that many neighborhoods in Kamloops have no sidewalks. When they were developed, the developers were allowed to build these neighborhoods and they were not tasked with building sidewalks. So there are entire neighborhoods, lots and lots of neighborhoods that have no sidewalks at all in Kamloops. And a lot of newer neighborhoods only have one sidewalk on one side of the street and there isn't one on the other. So if you're looking for a neighborhood with sidewalks or with sidewalks on both sides of the street, be sure and drive around before you decide where you want to live, because it's very, very common not to have sidewalks in Kamloops. Well, there you have it. The good, the bad, and the ugly of living in beautiful Kamloops, British Columbia. And arguably, some of those things may not be that good, bad, or ugly. And that comes down to personal opinion. And I'm sure many locals will comment down below. But I did want to give you a good overall view of what to expect, both good and bad, before you come to visit Kamloops and maybe make it your home. Now, if you're looking to buy a home in Kamloops, I would love to help you, and I have many, many years of experience helping people relocate to the Kamloops area, and we can get you set up with a list of homes matching what you're looking for long before you actually come to Kamloops, so that you can study the market before you get here. Please reach out to me in the show notes below or at the end of this video for my contact information. Please subscribe and smash that like button, because that motivates me to make more videos. Thank you for watching.